What's up, YouTube people? It is I, the Grateful Recovering Addict, bringing to you another segment of Hypodermically Speaking, Professions of a Spoon Cooker. So, it's over a year now. It's a year and 2 weeks since I last picked up a mind or mood altering substance. If you look at the videos before I put up, they tell you, things I've done during that time, how I dealt with them, and as you go back in the videos, you can see the progression I'm making. I'm gonna be 32 in beginning of next year. So that's 32 years I've been on this planet, right? I didn't start experimenting with drugs and alcohol until I was about 13, maybe 12. It was right before, not right before, but it was maybe my last year before I went to high school, so like 8th grade. In the beginning, it would be sneaking drinks at parties or raiding my parents' liquor cabinet with my brother, I lived in, New York City. So getting access to anything was easy at that time. The early 90s, early 2000s, especially before 9/11. We used to go to, on this main street, there was this homeless dude we called the Magic Bum. He'd sit in front of a Dwayne Reed or Ecker, whatever it was, and you give him money. You tell him what you wanted. We tell him we want a 6-pack of Heineken, 6-pack of Becks, whatever. He tell you, yeah. You go into the store with the money across the street, but he'd always come back with 40 ounces for us. And then later on, we found bodegas, or delis in the neighborhood, that there would be somebody we knew from the neighborhood, a kid like us. He'd go there enough so the guy would sell to him, so he'd bring us around. The owner or whatever who worked there would get to know our face. So we'd go in there, they give us a black bag, black shopping bag, black plastic bag. And, tell us, go in the back, fill it up whatever you want. We'd fill it up, come back to the register behind the counter, give him the bag, he'd ring it up, and, then we go to the park or somebody's house to drink, whatever, And this was also around the time of, Kazaa, before it was LimeWire. So we'd use that to our advantage. We were able to use that to procure, fraudulent identifications, basically, that we use solely for the purposes of obtaining alcohol and from stores and getting access to like bars, lounges, hookah bars in the city. They were popular at the time. We'd go to Astoria. So we'd get in and we had these cards, because we lived in New York. These were from Jersey. That they would look at them and be like, yeah, this is the New Jersey identification. They wouldn't know, and they let us into the bars and the clubs, and I'm 13, 14, 15 years old, and I'm hanging out with 21-year-olds. Unless someone else in there got a fake ID, I don't know, but yeah, that's what we do, because we was getting money too. We was I would be selling booze to kids in high school because of that, right? I'd go whenever I had a free period. I'd go off campus, go to the store, I'd fill an order. People would tell me what they wanted. I wouldn't sell during the week. But on Fridays, you tell me what you want during the week. Make sure, you give me your money, you place your order. I go get it for you. But whatever it, costs in the store, I charge more than double. So if you want to like a bottle, whatever, Goose or Jack Daniels, it's like, whatever, 25, 30 at the time. I don't know what prices are nowadays. I haven't set foot in a liquor store in a while. But I charge you, you know, over double. So I was making double on every purchase, you know. But that was like fast money. So like at an early age, I was dabbling in all kinds of vices. That's another thing. People say devices. I think it's vices. I believe it's vices. Not people aren't left to their devices. It's their vices. That's why it's called vice. Anyway, so I was young. I never asked my parents for an allowance. Never got one. So I was making money, doing what I knew how to do, hustle. You know, buy for $1, sell for three, and I just, I went to school. I always kept my grades up. I stayed out of trouble at the time. I didn't get no confrontations with police. The only thing I was really of a concern was not getting jumped, not getting robbed. Only to come home that if I smelled like alcohol, I would hear it from my parents. Like I grew up at a time where if you fucked up, you got the belt. You know, you'd be sitting in school the next day like this. Teacher be like, "What's wrong with you?" And you're like, "Nothing." Because we grew up in the generation. I guess my generation is the last where you know that's how things were. You know, but I didn't really start messing around. Really, at this point in high school, I was messing around with the prescriptions. I wasn't aware of prescriptions until later in high school because a lot of the kids I went to school with, they were all from like Yonkers and Westchester and North, upstate New York. North New York from that area, and I guess that's where it all stemmed from. This is before it was even like a major thing. Like the pills took over the whole country. This is like just when it was starting. So I never seen these before. I never heard of these before. I had to look them up on the computers, like Xanax and Valiums and the Klonopins and Vicodin and Percocets and the Oxys and all that stuff. So and they were bringing this stuff into the high school like like bags, like Vicodins, like bags, like back then. And I don't think any of them were fake at the time because there was no fake drugs in the time. You know. So I was, whatever, selling them too. I was eating them, you know, and they were messing up my brain. And so I finished high school. I got a scholarship to college. I made the dean's list, honor list. I did all that. But at the same time, the other side, I was essentially abusing my body and my mind. There was a few occasions where, like in school, I took way too many Xanax. I took the footballs. I almost fell down the stairs. I had the kids on the football team had to carry me around because I was so fucked up, and they didn't want to get me. They didn't want to see me get in trouble with the teachers. They didn't want them to find out. A lot of them were selling stuff too, so they didn't want. So just little by little, I was turning into a marshmallow. Because then I got into college. That whole summer before college, I was already living in Jersey, so I was hanging out with the Jersey kids. And all they ever do is like get high and fuck. That's all we ever did. So by the time I got to college, I was not taking it serious. I spent more time in the bar than class. I would my routine going to school because was living in Jersey at the time, and like police were on to me at this point in Jersey. Like there's only been like a year or two, and they were already like looking into me. I guess that summer I must have robbed the wrong kid whose parents was a cop or new cops. But I wake up and I would be go walking to the train from the house, from my parents' house, and from the house to the train station was about like a good like 15-20 minute walk. So you have to go down down the mountain, and cops used to watch me all the time. So it got to the point they're watching me nonstop. I just be like, yo, like if you're gonna be watching me, at least give me a ride to the station. You know what I mean? Like to fuck with them. But like sometimes I didn't feel like walking. So I'd wake up in the morning. Everybody, my parents would go to work. My brothers would be going to school. So I'd be in the house by myself with you know, whatever until it was time for me to go to the station. So I'd wake up and I'd be drinking. I had like a bottle of Henny in the room. Other liquor, you know, I had a cigar box, a wooden cigar box. And in there I had like coke, I had dope. Started doing dope at this time. I wasn't shooting, I was sniffing it. I had dope, I had pills, the Xanax, I had weed. So my morning routine was like I wake up, I have, either a glass of some kind of like, cognac or scotch. I'd be drinking that in the morning, or like, pop a few Xannies and grapefruit juice. And then like on the way to school, I probably like smoke a blunt on the way to like walking through the from the house to the station because there's woods in between, so I'd be able to smoke a blunt walking. And then like I would have a bag of coke, and I'd be doing key bumps on the train from the train to Penn Station. It was like an hour ride, so I'd be doing key bumps on the train to keep myself awake and shit. Get to school, I had to walk. I went to Baruch on East 25th in Lexington, so I had to walk from Penn Station to there. It's like another like 20, 30-minute walk. I don't even know. I was a kid, you know what I mean? So I was fast. So I'd be, whatever. And I go to school, I'd be pop some more Xannies, smoke some cigarettes, do some more key bumps. And that was my day. And like this took its toll on me because like I wasn't spending too much time in class. Like I missed class to go smoke, to go hang out with girls, to go to the bar, to go hang out with the fraternity dudes, to go to pick up drugs from uptown. I used to go pick up drugs from this dude I was introduced to at Columbia University. He had a lot of good stuff. He had what's it called? He had some of the best drugs. Some of the stuff I never even seen before. He's the one of the first people I seen that had meth. Like he had the Tupperware thing full of meth. And he's like, you want, you know what I mean, this, whatever. And like I was like, nah, but like I would pick up, like he had, like I walked in, first time I went, I never forget it. Like it's like a room. It's one of those apartments by Columbia University. You walk in the house, he buzzes you in. I had 3 customers ahead of me at the time. You walk into the room, he lets you in. It's like a grand piano. It's like 3 MacBooks on the fucking piano. There's like burlap sacks of weed. I got 3 kids ahead of me. This guy and this girl are buying opium. They bought out the opium for that day. I couldn't get opium that day. That's what I wanted. The other kid just wanted weed. After he took care of them, I was just with him. I was able to get like coke. Like he had coke, good coke. And like that shit, like, like the fresh shit. Like you do a key bump. Like I couldn't feel my face from Penn Station till I got to my station in Jersey, you know what I mean? Like, that's how good that shit was. Like, you don't feel your face. Like, now I know what Joel Santana and Lil Wayne were talking about in that song. That's from that shit. But, so, like, I had, you know what I mean? Like, drugs are easy access for me. Drugs and alcohol, all that shit. So, I was doing all this stuff. And, like now that I'm sober, I only got a year. It's not a lot, but I got to be grateful for it and appreciate it. You know what I mean? But the whole point of this is to, like, if you're someone in like addiction right now, if you're in addiction or you're in recovery, if you got anything to do with this whole thing, right? Whatever you went through, whatever happened, whatever you did, everything is fixable. Not right away. You might not see results right away, but it is fixable. The only thing you can't fix in life is death, because once that happens, it's game over. There's no coming back from that. And even if they did some reanimation shit in the science community and the whole scientific thing, I think you're dabbling with like things humans are not supposed to be dabbling with. Cause I don't think you come back the same way once you died. So like, only thing you have solutions for in life is when you're alive. You can fix things. I mean, it'll take time. Like if you wrong somebody, make amends is gonna take time. It doesn't happen right away. Everybody process things differently. You know what I mean? Depending on the severity, what you did, and and how long it might take. Because you tell somebody I got a year clean or I got a day clean, like, oh, that's great, but like, it might take 10 years, it might take a lifetime, it might never happen, it might happen in the next life, So, patience is important. A lot of these young kids nowadays too, like, I don't follow the new music. I don't know what goes on with that. I just hear some things like with the violence and the nonsense. They're doing a lot of like weird scams and frauds. But, like, whatever drugs they're doing, because they got all that synthetic shit. A lot of it's not even real. Like they'll be getting that fentanyl nowadays, not even heroin, and the cocaine. People buy crack because there's cocaine in it. The cocaine you buy in the streets is not even cocaine no more. People buy crack, break it down with lemon juice or vinegar, and shoot it up to get the cocaine. They don't even, you know what I mean? That's what real addicts be doing nowadays. Like, you know. So like drug addiction. However you want to look at it, I'm looking at it as for me. I'm keeping it on the eye. I look at it as a life experience because I done did that. I done did a lot of it. Like I was never no Pookie. I never was no Escobar. I was my own category wherever fit in, got to fit in. But I got to learn from a Pookie perspective, and I got to learn from an Escobar perspective, because I was doing both. I was doing both, so I got to see. So now I know these things. Now that I'm clean and sober, and I got some time under me, I'm able to be aware. I'm alert. I'm privy to. I realize. I can reflect. I know. Like I never really did that whole the rehab shuffle, but within the 2020, the last 3 years, I've been to two. I took my last time in rehab. The only time I took it serious. I took it serious because I went in all fucked up. With one bag of clothes. I was all fucked up, but I took it serious. So that was the only time I went to a rehab and I took it serious, and now I'm here. The other times, there was one other time I went to a rehab. It was a carrier clinic in Belmead. That's where I met my girl, the one who overdosed. That's where I met her. And yeah, that was, even though we was using, I didn't kill her, but I feel guilty and responsible because of how we were living. I should. She didn't deserve the way what happened to her, and I could have done something about it, and I didn't. So I have to live with that. It's a fucked up life experience, but I vowed to never let that happen again. And it's been a while too since I've been in a relationship because of that. I don't want that happening again, and I want to I want to be serious about it. I don't, you know what I mean? Like it's difficult to get. I don't want to get through it. I don't want to get past it. I've come to accept it. I just haven't come to grips with it, with the terms with it, to really how to apply the acceptance. Yeah, I guess. Because I've had people die before too. I know, I was with her. We were coming back from where she lived in Keyport. I picked her up from work last year, and we were coming over to my place to spend the weekend back in February because we know it's gonna be a snowstorm, so we thought it'd be nice to spend the weekend together at my place. And of course, we went to Newark and picked up shit. And I'm like, yo, let's go, go visit my friend Rob at the time. I was hanging out with him too whenever, come back from work, and I wasn't with her or something. So I'm like, yeah, she's like, yeah, let's go. We passed by his house, and there's cops cars outside. So I'm thinking oh shit. I knew he had warrants and he was in some kind of trouble. So I'm thinking that's what happened. So I go a little further down the street to his cousin's house. His cousin's outside in the driveway where I pull up. Yo, what happened? He's like, yo, this idiot hung himself. I was just with him 2 days ago too. We were going to pick up, and he was telling me, yo, drop me off at this chick's house. He had this relationship with this chick, and he's like, drop me off. I'm like, what do you mean drop you off? He's like, I want to go talk to him. You guys together? He's like, nah, there was some kind of problem. She didn't want to see him. So I'm like, yo, I'm not taking you there. I'm not dealing with this domestic shit. I don't want nothing to do with it. If you want to get there, you get there. It's like, all right, drop me off at the 7-Eleven. I got to get a Uber card. So that's what I did, and that was the last time I saw him alive. He died, I think it was a Saturday. Saturdays when they found his body. So it was Thursday when I dropped him off 7-Eleven. So I found out from his cousin later that that's what he did. He was high. He got more shit after when I got with him. He obviously got more. So it's, not trying to. But he went to go see her and didn't work out. He made him upset, and like I know he was struggling at the time. He lost his car. He had his couple DUIs. He wasn't doing financially well. Home wasn't good, you know. And I, you know what I mean. So like, but so I know people that died from drugs and what drugs can do, you know. So this whole recovery thing's an experience for me. It took these negative things to happen for me to turn into something positive. I hope I'm turning into something positive. Because I'm not using today. I'm not using. I have, in the beginning of recovery, the urge or the desire to use is there. Don't nobody fool you, it's there. And then it's going to stay with you. It's going to persist with you during the duration of your recovery. Because once you choose to put that stuff down, you are going to be in recovery your whole life. But it's going to vary the severity of the urge and desire to use, because the more time you allow to give yourself, the fog lifts, and you're able to distinguish what's a priority and what's more important in your life. Like, is it more important to get fucked up and not take care of responsibilities? Because you could have fun in sobriety. You could have fun in recovery. You don't have to drink and get high. Like, I live in a sober house. Like, you see, I'm in the sober house right now. This is a room I share with another dude. You know what I mean? Like, I play cards with the dudes. We go to meetings. We go bowling. We go play pool. We go to the store. We got girls come over. We play board games. We watch movies. We you know, now it's winter time, but we used to go to the beach. We go traveling. We did paintballing. We went to even though it's COVID right now, you still find stuff to do. So like, you just gotta have a positive mentality. You gotta have that will to do something about your situation in a positive perspective. You know, you can't just be like, that's it. Like, and like now too, this whole COVID thing going on, it's really affecting people in active addiction and sobriety, because it's people putting people on lockdown. It's forcing people to either break or become creative. Either you're gonna break or you're gonna create, you know? I don't know what's gonna happen with this whole virus thing. They're trying to implement this vaccine. There's a whole lot of weird, questionable, conspiracy things going on with that whole thing. I just don't like the whole. Any way I look at it, I don't like the situation. I don't like authority. Anytime you accept authority, you're accepting to be a slave. The only person that got authority over me is me. You know, like I grew up. You know, parents taught me what right and from wrong, and I'm a human. I can distinguish myself. At the end, it's just gonna be God that's gonna tell me how I live. So like, so how'd you do? I'll tell him what I think, and he'll tell me what he knows. What's fact, you know? But this whole recovery, right now, if you're in active addiction, or you're in early recovery, or you got time, this video is basically for us, and for anyone else who might find themselves one day in that kind of situation. Human life is not meant to just be about drugs and alcohol. It's not one big party all the time. Yes, you should go about appreciating the beauty in life every day. You definitely should. You should not do it. But being human encompasses a lot of things. It involves a lot of things. It's like, you have to be responsible. You're responsible for your life. You know, you're responsible for taking care of another life if that happens, if you become a parent. But you're responsible for yourself to do the right thing, you know. That's why they have rules like, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt honor, you know. These are meant they were created back then. They're meant put in place to keep society in place, to keep people in place, not to keep us in line. It's not authority. It's just like, it's a commandment. It's like, thou shalt not do this. And like, same thing, like it's like almost like saying, thou shalt breathe. You choose not to breathe, what happens? Things don't work out very well. Or if you can't breathe, you know what I mean? So like, it's like to follow these procedures. It's like, it's not a suggestion. It's like, do this, it'll work. It'll work out for you. If everybody did it, it'll work out for everybody. Same thing like in recovery, the steps they give you. It's not a suggestion. It's not advice. It's not like, maybe do 11 out of the 12. It's like, no. Time and time again, these steps, you follow them, that will work for you in your favor. If you're really working them sincerely and honestly, like the open-minded, you have to be open-minded, willing, And I forgot the other one. Open-mindedness, willingness, and the strength or hope. There's three of them. I forgot, but you have to have that, right? I'm sorry, it's early in the morning. I just woke up. I got a little energy drink. I got off from work. You know what I mean? Like, look, a year later, right? I got a better job than I ever had. I'm working over in the train yards. I I don't know nothing about no trains, but I got this job, and like the guys like me, and they see I bust my ass to do my job, so they'll keep me around. They're training me. They put me through training. They put me through this. So I might be driving the trains one day. Who knows? But my point is like, give a shit about yourself. Give a shit about around you. Give a shit about your life. Like, if you find yourself, like, everybody makes mistakes. If you're right now in active addiction or you just early recovery, as long as you're alive, there's a solution for it. You can fix it. Everybody can say, I fucked up, made a mistake. I tripped and fell, but now I'm getting up. You know what I mean? Get up. That's the whole key port. Apply things to get back up and stay up. Do your best to stay up, because there are times you are going to get knocked down, but get back up. So I just want to end it like this. So I got stuff to do today. I'm going to continue to stay positive. I want y'all to stay positive as well. So let's all stay positive. Let's all stay tuned for more. It is I, the grateful recovering addict, just bringing to you another segment of Hypodermically Speaking. These are the confessions of a spoon cooker, with more to come. Thank you.